Hey guys, this is Akshay Sura. I've been doing Sitecore since 2007 and been an MVP a few times. Today we'll be looking at CMP administration. So we released a video recently about Content Marketing Platform and just an overview walkthrough of what it is. Today we'll be looking at some administration capabilities just to make your life a little bit easier. And again, I don't have many slides for this. It's mainly working inside of Content Hub. So on the left, you see a plain instance of Content Hub. On the right, it's based on one of the demo instances. So off the bat, the only thing you're going to see on the left is the logo I just uploaded, but on the right, as you can see, there's additional information. So there is a difference in the content you get out of the box. There's not a lot, so you would need to work with the Sitecore team who's looking at your metadata to set things up. So we will try going through some of the features inside of CMP today, and then see how we can add the metadata we need, add the any types we need as we go on. All right, let's go ahead and create a new campaign. We don't have a template right now, but you can create templates for campaigns, so you can do multiples of similar types of campaign. Right now we'll just try to create a campaign. Before I add any information, we'll just go through it really quick. So the name, when the campaign starts and ends, the team is basically the group of users for this campaign. Campaign type, we don't have any out of the box metadata, so we'll figure out how to do that. And then localization, right now we just have these two. I'm okay with the NUS. So let's see how we can do campaign type. So we go into this settings. This is where all the fun stuff is if you want to play around with it. Let's go into taxonomy, search for campaign. There we have a campaign type. So I am hoping to create a campaign type of event, and again icon, let's see, I think there is a calendar icon. There you go. Give it a color. You could tag your content to other content. I don't want to tag it to another campaign. The identifier, either you could type it in or it gets created by default. Go ahead and hit save. I'm going to add another one, just calling site launch. Let's see, I want a globe. Pick a different color and then hit save. So we have two campaign types. Now if we go back here and then add a new campaign, and then let's look at campaign type. So we created the campaign types right now, which is awesome. So I'm going to say the campaign is Hackathon 2021, so let's be specific. And then it is going to start today, and we will go, usually it's run in March, so I'm just going to set the first week of March. Team, I'm going to leave it the way it is. Campaign is an event. Localization, I want it in ENUS. Go ahead and hit create. So that's our campaign. But it doesn't have any assets or anything in it. So what I'm going to do is, since I already have an asset of Hackathon logo, I'll just link that here. And we don't have any content, so that's our next part, is trying to figure out what content we need for this. All right, so let me just change the image real quick on this, drop that there. Let's add a new piece of content. So as you can see, there's different types of content. Right now we have these 7 out of the box, but you can add a new type if you choose to. Each type will have its own set of fields which you can take information on. So this one's going to be a blog. I am going to add the localization. It's better to add at least one localization. It's make it a part of the process. This is announcing that's good enough. Let's go ahead and hit create. Now we got a piece of content. Once I get into the piece of content, you can see that it's already in workflow. So this the piece of content I'm creating, I'm not going to go through the ideation phase because I already have run the hackathon so many times that I know the content which needs to get done. So it's a matter of setting the content calendar more than anything else. So we, as you can see, this has its own workflow, and again, you can customize this workflow the way you choose to. By default, the fields you see here, so I have the blog title, so hackathon, so Sitecore Hackathon 2021 announcement, and then I have a quote here, and then I have the body here, and I can add any attachments, any images or assets I'm pushing as part of this. From a metadata perspective, you can see that we have a publication status. By default, you get these 5. You could add more. So essentially get into the habit of setting the status of where it is in your publication status. We know the type is blog. The audience, there is none at this moment. That's something which we have to specify. So audience is the target audience for the segment of content, and then we have channel account, which identifies the specific segment in the publication channel, which we don't have any in there. We don't have any region specified, so we'll specify all of that. We have a publication date, so let me set this as the 3rd, which is the Monday, and maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. Brief is just a summary or some kind of description. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this, and then let's go here. It's the campaign. Master asset is content. So if we had assets, and I'll show you these, if the asset itself, so if you have multiple assets and one of the assets is a master asset, if you check this box, essentially you're saying that asset itself is the piece of content. There's nothing in here which is going to act as the content. That asset will be the content. And then these are some dates. These are a couple of crucial information. So dynamic publication date, if you check this and specify the number of days here, essentially it's going to take the start date of the campaign and then add the number of days and schedule it that way. So if you're running a big campaign, it makes sense for you to add on to when the campaign started. So 3 days from the campaign start, release this. 5 days from the campaign start, release that. So we'll take a look at those for sure. Impact scores we talked about in the previous conversation. So for now, I'm just going to save this. Come back here. So one of the things before we get into any other stuff is you can see I'm constantly having to go in here, or you'll end up going in there quite a bit while you're working on it. So usually what I do is for the things I touch quite often, I try to move it up top. So for instance, search. So I went into the main manage page, into pages, and then essentially what I'm doing here is I'm moving things to the top level. So you see search came back up over here. I'm going to do the same for work, because that's the dashboard for your current set of work. Oh, sorry, I didn't go. Move, come back out, move here. We'll do the same for campaigns as well. So, all right. sorry, needed to get done. All right, so we have our campaign. What I'm gonna do is I am going to add another content item, and I'm going to say, so we are going to announce hackathon on social. I'll do social media. What I wanted to show on this one is, so I have this piece of content. I am going to do this so that you can kind of see. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and save this, add a couple of files, and then I'm going to drop it here. And then what I'll do is I will, okay, I want to make sure that they, and then what I did want to show is, as you can see, I have some content for the actual social and as well as the assets. But if I go back in here and I check this, master asset is the content, you notice that it blanks everything out, because essentially we're saying once we don't have a master asset set, but if we set a master asset, it doesn't need to accept any field values. That's what I was trying to show you over here for this one. But I will uncheck that. And what I'll do is I'll set the dynamic publish date and set it to 3. So it should be 3 days after the campaign start date. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Go back here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the update publication dates, just to make sure that the publication dates for that are set. Let me come back into the calendar and go into August. So you can see that the announcement is set to the 2nd right now, and then the actual blog post is set to the 3rd. Now let's come back to campaigns real quick. So let me go in here. As you notice, some things take a little longer, right? So I'm going to set this to 1. Save that. Come back here. Update. And then I want to just make sure. So we start on the 31st, right? So it added 3 days to it. So for 2nd, 3rd, which makes sense. I'm just waiting for it to update right now. So we just added 1, came back, updated content publication dates. It added 1 to the start date, so it's the 31st. So that's what I basically wanted to show you how that is done. So the next one I wanted to tackle was the audience. So as you can see, we don't have any audience metadata specified, so we will tackle that next. All right, let's go back into manage. Yeah, I don't want to save anything at this moment. All right, let's go into taxonomy. Let's find audience, and let's create a new one. So audience is, like I mentioned, their target audience for the content. So I am going to create a couple. So developers, you could tag a piece of content. So I could do this from here, but you don't have to. You can add an icon if you like, color if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. I'm going to add another one called marketers. Again, I may or may not tag it from here. You could if you wanted to. And then hit save. So that creates the audience for us. The next one we wanted to look into was channel account. So channel account, identifies the specific segment. So for instance, I would do website, it's active, and here you can specify these JSON attributes for calculating the value of how much you get when this piece of content is served or consumed by this specific channel account. I am going to probably leave the rest of them the way they are at this moment. So I will create a website. I will create, we don't have a, let's just say official Twitter, for instance. And then I'll leave it be, save that, so channel account. And then let me come back here and then do region. I'll just add a few. So again, US. I'm not gonna set the content at this moment because I want to get back into the content. Canada, Europe, and then let's do one more. Alright, so now when I get back here, let me go into a piece of content to take a look at these, right? So go ahead and hit that. As you can see, so I can go from here, or while I'm doing that, channel account. So I'm going to say website, region, pretty much all of these apply, but it looks like I can only pick one, which is interesting. And then I am going to, and that should be pretty much it, I'm going to save. So it kind of shows you extending of the metadata, so we are able to add more things as we need it and make the system work for us. So it's very extensible. You can set it up, by default. A version of it is set up by the Sitecore team working with you, but once you're done with that, you're still able to modify certain things. So if you see anything with a lock, it does, it means that you can't really do a lot with it, but you can still probably set quite a bit of attributes for it. Okay, so let's go back here and then try to add a new content type. So essentially what we're trying to do is, as you can see, each of these content types has different attributes to what you ask of the content author. I'm going to add a new type called event. Let me see. And then what I'm going to do is, for the event, we need to add name. It's a single line, so you have options with multiple line in HTML. Event name for the help text is fine. Style, it basically is what gets shown in the style preview, so I want it as H1. I want to add another member, details, and this is going to be HTML. I will set it to paragraph, and then let's add a location. And location, maybe I'll do an HTML because it'll either be a link to an online webinar or meeting, or a map location, and I'll select paragraph as well. So now we have a new event type, created. Let me go back here, and then actually I like the calendar view. So for instance, you're able to see when your content is being done. So for instance, if we are going to announce a piece of well, let's do Teams question. webinar, for instance, and this belongs to our campaign. And see, in US it's a type of an event, and the date is, for instance, the 13th. You create that, and what we're going to do is, as you can see, the event name is team questions, and the details is answer teams. Here we could do a link to the webinar. So as you can see, we created a new type. We're able to save the info, and you can add as many content types as what fits your business, and you can see that it's on the calendar, which makes it easier for you to fill in any gaps for content. So I'm hoping this bit of, there's quite a bit you could do, if you can imagine, once you start getting into it in terms of security, the flows, quite a few things you could do in terms of page customizations. But I just wanted to give you a flavor of what can be done in terms of content itself. I hope this really helped you. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, my name is Akshay Surya. You can reach us on various social channels and on our website. Hopefully we will be producing a lot more of these videos to get into the workings of Content Hub rather than just throwing out presentations. So thanks again for watching this video.